There is a state in a relationship that is even more painful and draining than being rejected outright. It is the feeling that you are being kept around, but you are never being chosen. You know that feeling well. She still texts, she still goes out with you, and she still offers sweet gestures, but only when it is convenient for her. When you need clarity, she avoids it. When you pull back, she pulls you back in with just enough attention to keep you from leaving, but also just enough so that you never feel like her number one priority. You find yourself standing in an invisible queue, an option that is maintained at a minimum level just to keep you in existence. This ambiguity is a dangerous toxin for the mind of a man. It makes you fall into the trap of self-doubt. You start to ask yourself, maybe I am not good enough, or maybe I need to invest just a little bit more so she can see my value. You try to decode every period and comma in her messages, trying to find a ray of hope in her disconnected actions. But stop for a moment. Why do we often ignore these signs from the very beginning? Men often have a tendency to look at potential instead of reality. We look at the moments when she is happy and tell ourselves that is the real her, while the current indifference is only temporary. We fear that if we speak up or set a boundary, we will lose that fragile opportunity. But in reality, your silent acceptance of the backup position is not a sign of tolerance. It is a signal that you lack a necessary self-defense mechanism. Doubting yourself in this situation is not a sign of weakness. It is your intuition screaming to protect you. It is alerting you that the balance of value in this relationship is seriously tilted. She is not necessarily a bad person or a professional manipulator. Sometimes it is just a natural psychological pattern. Human beings rarely appreciate things that are always available and carry no risk of being lost. In this video, we are not going to talk about how to win or how to make her choose you. We are going to strip away the hidden psychology that causes a woman to start placing you on a list of options instead of making you a priority. When you understand how the game is being played, you will no longer feel confused. Instead, you will find that you have the power to choose again, whether to continue standing in line or to walk away from this unfair game on your own. If you have ever felt like a plan B taken out of a drawer every time she is bored, leave a comment saying, "I have felt this" down below. Acknowledgement is the first step for us to shift from a passive state to a state of clarity. Now, let us dive deep into why excessive safety can sometimes become the kiss of death for your attraction. At Femina Mind, we view relationships as a system of balance between value and energy. When you are treated as an option, it means this system is out of sync. Let us break down the first two psychological laws that explain why your status has declined in her eyes. 1. The absence of emotional urgency. There is a truth that men often misunderstand. We think that by making her feel extremely safe, she will love us more. But in the psychology of attraction, when a woman truly desires you and fears losing you, she will show it through clarity. The pattern is that when she considers you an option, she does not feel the urge to commit or keep you. She might reply to a message after 5 hours, cancel a date at the last minute with a shallow reason, or keep the relationship in a state of ambiguity for a long time. The psychology behind this is that she is comfortable with the possibility of you leaving, because deep down, she believes that you are not going anywhere. When the fear of loss or loss aversion is at 0, your value in the eyes of the other person is automatically lowered. The right action is to stop providing reassurance that you will always be there regardless of how she treats you. Keep your life busy and have boundaries regarding your time. If she cancels a date without a good reason, do not say, "It is okay, babe." Instead, show her that your time is limited and valuable. 2. You are safe but not desired. This is the trap that nice guys often fall into. You are always available, always understanding, and always the one listening to all her problems. You become a peaceful harbor, a convenience in her life. The pattern is that you realize she comes to you when she needs advice, needs someone to drive her somewhere, or needs comfort after a sad event. But when she is happy, when she is at her brightest, she spends that time with others, the people whose attention she has to work for. The Femina mind analysis is that attraction lives on tension and affirmed value. When you are too predictable and always provide unconditional support, you accidentally kill her curiosity and desire to win you over. You become like a familiar piece of furniture in the house. It is important, but no one looks at it every day with admiration. A common mistake is trying to invest even more in hopes that she will be touched. In reality, in this case, investing more only makes the scale tilt further. Do you see yourself in this pattern? Do you feel like you are more of a driver or a psychological consultant than a man who is desired? Leave a comment saying, "Is this pattern familiar?" if you are noticing this imbalance in your relationship. Femina mind is not telling you to become a bad person or to be cold. We only want you to realize that kindness without high self-worth is only seen as service. To stop being an option, you must be the first person who knows how to prioritize yourself. At this point, you might not feel alarmed, just slightly drained. Not because she's done something openly destructive, but because the emotional atmosphere feels heavier than it should. You care, you reassure, you show up, and yet it never quite seems to be enough. That's what makes this dynamic so confusing. On the surface, needing reassurance doesn't look dangerous. It can even look vulnerable, human, understandable. Taken in isolation, each request for affirmation feels small, easy to give, easy to excuse. So you tell yourself it's normal, that everyone needs support sometimes, but the issue isn't a single moment of insecurity. It's the pattern of emotional gravity, like a battery that drains a little faster each day, not from one large demand, but from constant background pull. Or like carrying a weight you barely notice at first, until you realize you've been adjusting your posture the entire time. What matters isn't whether she needs validation, it's whether you've become the sole source of it. When one person must repeatedly stabilize the other's sense of worth, monitor reactions, soften truths, increase praise just to keep equilibrium, that ongoing imbalance becomes information. From here, the dynamic doesn't explode, it tightens. Because the next patterns won't feel dramatic, they'll feel like responsibility quietly replacing reciprocity. If this dynamic feels familiar in ways you haven't fully named, stay with me. 3. The mechanism of emotional anchors. There is a reality that few dare to say out loud. A woman who is keeping you in a backup position usually does not want you to leave, but she also does not want to give you an official position. The pattern is that she keeps you like an anchor. When life out there is too volatile, or when other people disappoint her, she will come back to you to recharge her confidence. You are the provider of the emotional stability that she lacks. The metaphor is that you are like a spare tire. No one wants to use a spare tire for a long-distance trip, but they would feel extremely insecure if it was not in the trunk of the car. The emphasis here is that the danger is not her behavior, but the fact that you rationalize it by saying, "Her coming to me in difficult times proves I am the most important person." No, that might just be because you are the most predictable person. 4. The value gap. Attraction rarely exists on a flat horizontal plane. It usually operates according to an invisible hierarchy. When a woman starts treating you like an option, it is a signal that she feels she is in a higher position or above you. In this relationship, the sign is that she senses that you invest more, you fear losing her more, and most importantly, you have no other options besides her. The consequence is that once the other person realizes they are your entire world, while you are only a small piece of their world, respect will gradually disappear. Without respect, there can be no priority. The bitter truth is that you are like an item always marked with a 50% off sign. No matter how good the quality is, people will not appreciate it as much as a luxury item that they have to save up for and work hard to obtain. 5. You accept undefined terms. This is exactly when the crack becomes a collapse. You are seen as an option because you yourself agreed to unfair rules of the game from the very beginning. The pattern is that you do not ask for clarity because you fear the answer will be no. You accept unnamed dates, vague titles, and intermittent attention. The psychological analysis is that when you do not set standards and boundaries, you are silently teaching her that you can treat me however you want, and I will still be here. You are lowering your own value in exchange for a fake connection. At this stage, a feeling of suffocation and helplessness is understandable. You feel like you are rowing a boat on a sea with no compass, where all your efforts are pouring into a void. But remember, if you are at this stage, you are not alone. Many men have mistaken persistence for self-destruction. If you feel these analyses are making you a bit uncomfortable because you see your own image in them, then that is a good sign. Discomfort is the beginning of awakening. Do not forget to subscribe to Femina Mind so we can move to the most important part, which is how to turn the tables and regain your own self-respect. We have stripped away the psychological patterns that put you in the waiting line, but now is the time we must face the bitterest truth, which is also the turning point for you to escape this passive state. The turning point is that you are not a victim. You are the one allowing it. The strongest and most dangerous sign does not lie in her actions, but in the silent compromise within you. When you realize you are being treated as an option, but still try to prove your worth by investing more, you are accidentally confirming to her that this backup position is what you deserve. Flip your thinking. It is time to stop asking, "Why is she not choosing me?" and start asking, "Why am I choosing to stay with someone who does not choose me?" The realization is that when you become over-available, you are no longer a man to be desired, but rather you become a free safe zone. The moment you realize you are trying to maintain a connection that the other person only sees as a secondary option, that is exactly when you must choose between continuing a hollow hope or regaining your self-respect. The truth is, you cannot use logic to convince someone to value you. You can only do that through action and withdrawal. When you stop explaining, stop proving, and most importantly, stop fearing her departure, a powerful energy shift will occur. According to the Femina Mind mindset, the internal solidity of a man is what creates the most sustainable attraction. When you have a full life, personal goals, and boundaries that cannot be violated, you force her to stand before two clear choices. Either she realizes your value and starts putting in the effort to keep a place in your life, or she will leave. And that is when the truth is revealed, that this relationship was already empty a long time ago. Femina Mind is not a tool for you to manipulate the emotions of women. This is a mindset that helps you stay clear-headed so you do not lie to yourself. Self-respect is the foundation. A man who respects himself will never stand too long in a place where he is not welcomed with the highest appreciation. And in the end, the thing that needs to be looked back on is not whether she is intentionally treating you like a backup plan. It is also not about finding some psychological reason to accuse her. What is more important is this: in the way she treats you, do you still feel clearly chosen, or are you gradually accepting ambiguity as something normal? This is not because you are not worthy, but because you are afraid to ask for more. Many people tell themselves that if they are just a little more patient and prove themselves a little more, then their position will become more secure. But there are dynamics where the harder you try, the more you place yourself in the role of waiting. And when you get used to waiting for a message, waiting for a plan, or waiting for a confirmation, then that is no longer a clear love. Walking away in such cases is not an impulsive reaction. Sometimes it is the admission that you do not want to live in a state where your presence is optional. Femina mind does not exist to make you doubt every behavior or to turn women into cold objects of analysis. Femina mind is an observational mindset. It helps you recognize repeating patterns without panicking. It is a way to stay calm when your emotions make you want to compete for a position. And above all, it is a self-respect compass that reminds you that your value is not decided by whether someone puts you first or not. And perhaps the question worth carrying with you after this video is not, how can I make her prioritize me? Instead, it is, if I continue to accept this role, what am I teaching others about how to treat me? If you want, you can share your experience in the comments section, not to accuse anyone, but simply to be honest with yourself. And if Femina mind helps you maintain that clarity and dignity, you can stay and follow the channel. Not to win back a place in the heart of someone else, but to avoid losing your own place in your own life.